Okay, let us start the class. In today's class, I'm going to explain in JavaScript loops. JavaScript loops. So as I told you that these are very free classes. Okay, these all classes will be conducted under my Lakshmi Narayan Krishna Foundation, which was started in 2023, January 14, especially to enhance the coding skills, to provide the coding skills, means coding classes for rural students who are living in the rural areas and they are totally aware of network centers, especially hilly areas and desert areas. And in states like Jharkhand, Bihar, border areas, Jammu Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Rajasthan, desert states. Okay. So my intention is what I want to conduct. I want to arrange these free programming classes thrice of a week. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sharply at 8 p.m. in Zoom class link. Already I have shared that link to all of you through different platforms like Twitter, okay, and Facebook, different WhatsApp groups. I have shared that class link, Zoom link, that is the permanent link. So the classes will be conducted thrice of a week, every week, 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sharply at 8 p.m. under my Lakshmi Narayan Krishna Foundation. So this is third year since its beginning of the classes. Means my platform Lakshmi Narayan Krishna Foundation started in 2023, January 14th. Okay. So this is the third year. So I have promised to Mother Sri Bala Tripur Sundari Devi Amma, who is the mother of the universe. So I will provide the programming classes. Not only programming classes, I am conducting so many services under my Lakshmi Narayan Krishna Foundation. So one is that providing coding classes until my last breath of life, and then Parichaya Vedika for marriage allowances for different communities. Okay, and whenever I started to interact with the parents, so generally on Sunday 10 a.m. one meeting will be on through online, not offline. Okay, it is only online to discuss with the parents actually why the marriages are being delayed. Actually, I would like to know that actually what is happening. So that moment I found that most of the 75% matches they are being delayed by the astrology. So I started to understand the Vedic astrology and then Krishnamurti Padatulu. Then I found that most of the matches are being delayed by only by showing of single cars. Okay, the most of the marriages they are being avoided by the inadequate knowledge of who are having inadequate knowledge, the astrologers who are avoiding the matches by stating of single cause. So that moment I started to arrange the classes once a week, every Monday sharply at 8 p.m. to enhance the astrology concepts in the parents. That classes are very free classes. Anybody can attend my classes, even the bride and bridegroom and parents. They can come to my classes, and then they can improve their astrological knowledge so that they can understand actually what is astrology, how it is to be implemented for the marriage, okay, how it is to be considered for the marriages of their daughter and son. It doesn't mean to say that only by stating of single cause marriages will be delayed. Then after I have added with a Goshala, which was started in 2018 by three members of the Brahmin family. And actually, it was started in 2018, but I added in 2025 myself because I want to support to that Goshala. They are running 230, they are taking care of 230 Gomatas. Okay. Under my Lakshmi Narayan Krishna Foundation, I want to support to that Goshala also. Okay. So like this, under my Lakshmi Narayan Krishna's foundation, different services are being provided. And one more one Vruddhashram I am also supporting as a promoter. Okay. That is what Sri Dr. Lakshmi Priyanka Vanaprastha Vruddhashram, which is located near to Surareddypalayam, Ongole. Okay. One doctor, okay, who has met an accident without completing her dreams. She wants to become a doctor and then she wants to give the service to the society. But without completing her dreams, unfortunately, she has met an accident that happened. So that's why their parents have started an Urdhasramams to give the service to the old age parents. So myself, I am also supporting that foundation, that is Dr. Lakshmi Narayana, that is Dr. Lakshmi Priyanka Old Age Ashram near Surareddypalayam. I am promoting the that old age ashram also. Myself, I am giving as a promoter through providing social media. Okay, so let us start the classes. These are all, as I told you that these are all my services, whether it may be programming classes, it may be any marriage alliance support for different communities, and astrological support to parents, Goshala support to Go Protection Committee. Okay, and I, through my platform, I would like to request the Prime Minister Modi sir to declare the Gomata as the national animal because of this is the in this country the Gomatas, they are being considered as their mother, so that the Gomatas, they need to be respected, they need to be respected, they need to be cared in this country. That's why under my platform, through my classes, I would like to request Narendra Modi sir, so please declare the Gomata as the national animal. Okay, let us start the class. Okay, so in this today's class, let us discuss loops in JavaScript. Okay, loop is nothing but generally what happened, a block of code will be executed a number of times. A block of code, what do you mean block of code? I told you that block of code means some lines of code. Some lines means two, maybe 2 lines, 3 lines, 5 lines, 100 lines. Okay, even the one line of code is that is called one block of code. That block of code will be executed number of times. Okay, so loop, what is the main purpose of a loop? It can execute a block of code a number of times. It will run, execute means run. So a block of code will be run a number of times. Okay. So until the condition is satisfied. Whenever the condition is not satisfied, the loop will be terminated. That is the main intention of a loop. Rather than to write the code more times, suppose rather than if you write like this, it is somewhat tedious. Okay. So every time, suppose 100 times the code to be executed. So I need to write 100 line of code. No need. So that moment, that loop will be the main in the programming language. It may be any programming languages. It may be Java, it may be Python, C, C++, any programming languages, they will support the loops. So that no need to write more line of code. Suppose I want to display 100 items of a car, 100 items of a car. So that moment, no need to write 100 times of that code. Okay, like this. So rather than for this code, okay, car list will be displayed for this two lines of code. This is the two lines of code. Okay. So let us see how the code will be, the loop will be executed here, especially for loop. So let us see. Code is, it looks like this. Card, the code, it looks like this. Please try to understand what I am stating here. So first of all, see, as I told you that this is the JavaScript. I told you that JavaScript code that will be written inside of the HTML document. Okay. This line of code indicates that this is the HTML document, means web page document. So HTML, then after HTML element started with HTML start tag. In JavaScript, in programming, HTML programming, every element has two tags. This is the HTML element started with start tag, and it is to be closed with at the end tag. Every end tag start with forward slash. Okay. Then after body. Body element must be started with body start tag. And before this HTML end tag, we need to write body element to be, it is to be ended with end tag, body end tag, that element. Next, then after these two are the headers. Okay. So inside of the headers, start tag, this is the end tag, start tag, end tag, one end tag, one start tag, one end tag. Both will be called as an element. Okay. So inside of these two tags, whatever the content you write, that will be displayed on the web page. Okay. Now this is one more subheading. Okay. So now paragraph element inside of the paragraph start tag, not element, tag. So paragraph start tag, one ID attribute assigned with a value. This ID attribute value will be called, which will be used in get element by ID method. Get element by ID method to find out the HTML content. Okay. This method. Okay. So now come here under the script start tag, under the script end tag, the JavaScript code will be written. Okay, JavaScript code will be written. All the JavaScript related code that is to be written inside of the script element means every element has one start tag, end tag. Inside of this, JavaScript code will be written. Okay, now we need to create our intention is what? By the loop, all that car list, all the brands of different brands. That list, car list has different brands: BMW, Volvo, Saab, Ford, Fiat, Audi. So all that car list that is to be displayed one by one. That is to be displayed on the screen. Okay. So this is a car list. So that moment, how to display that car list on the screen? We can simply use the for loop. Okay. So first of all, I need to create a array. So here cars, it is a variable, means it is an array. Array, what it does in any programming language, array will hold many values. So cars is an array, and inside of this different cars I have mentioned. Okay. Every car mentioned as a string. I told you that in the programming language, In JavaScript, string can be represented in either single quotation or double quotation. So here I have mentioned the string in double quotation marks, BMW. Every value must be separated with a comma. Okay. And BMW, Volvo, different. So cars is an array. It is an array. It will hold different values. Okay. That is the main role of array. So once array is declared with the name of cars and constant keyword, otherwise let keyword, it can be used to create a variable. So cars is a array variable name. Okay, next. So then after it is terminated with the semicolon. So your cars array created and it is holding different car lists. Now I want to display all these values. That moment, simply use for loop. Okay. For simply two lines of code. For it is a keyword mostly used for loop. Inside of this parenthesis brackets, use let keyword to create a variable. This is indexing variable and its initial value set to 0. Okay. And terminate this. Next, whenever condition, one condition we need to write condition. Condition is what I told you that for loop will be executed until a condition will be satisfied. So means this list of items will be displayed until a condition is satisfied. Whenever that condition is broken, whenever that condition is not satisfied, that moment list of means that the loop will not executed. The loop will not be executed. Whenever I is equal to 0 means this is the index variable. So it reads the car list. It reads the car list. So whenever I is equal to 0, at the 0 index, this is the 0 index. Every value has an index. Okay. In this cars array, this initial value has index number 0. It has index number 1, it has index number 2, it has index number 3, it has index number 4, it has index number 5. Total, this cars array has how many values? 6 values. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But its index value is equal to 0. So the final value has index of 5. Total number 6. But index 0 to 5. So whenever I is equal to 0, so the cars that will be displayed. Cars indexing means cars is an array first index. Index is 0. So at 0, whatever the value that is to be displayed. Okay. So the condition is what? Whenever cars dot length. What is the cars dot length? Cars dot length is equal total values, 6 values. So whenever I less than 6, I less than 6. So cars list will be displayed one by one. Okay. So what happened whenever I is equal to 0, this is the condition. I cars dot length means total values are 6. So here it becomes I less than 6. So condition whenever I is equal to I less than 6. So suppose I 0, it will be incremented one by one. Initially 0, this value will be displayed and then it will be incremented. It incremented to 1. Now I is equal to 1. I 1 less than 6. So initially 0, BMW, this will be displayed and then incremented, I value incremented to next 0 plus 1, 1. Now I is equal to 1. So 1 less than car's length. What is the car's length? 6. So 1 less than 6. Condition is satisfied. So I 1 less than 6. So condition satisfied. So at 1, what is the value? At 1, this is the value. So so whenever I value incremented to 1, so that 1 less than car's length 6. So I is equal to 1 is less than 6. So at one index, this value is there that will be displayed. Again, I will be incremented. I will be incremented to what? 1 plus 1. Every time one will be incremented. Okay. So now I value is 2. So 2 is less than cars dot length. What is cars dot length? Cars dot length 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items. So I is equal to 2 less than 6. So condition satisfied. So at 2 index, this is the 2 index. Because this is 0 index, this is the 1 index, this is the 2 index. At 2 index, this value is there that will be displayed. Now I to be incremented. I plus, what is the I value? 2. 2 plus 1, 3. 3. So 3 is less than car dot length, that is 6. So 3 less than 6, condition satisfied. So at 3 index, this is the value, 4 will be displayed. Now I incremented to 1, 3 plus 1, 4. Now 4 is less than cars dot length, that is 6. So 4 is less than 6. So condition satisfied. So at 4, what is the value? This is the value, 4 at 4 index. So that value will be, fiat will be displayed. And I to be incremented, 4 plus 1, 5. Now 5 less than cars dot length, 6. 5 less than 6. Now at 6, 5, this is the, at 5 index, this is the value. Because this is the 0 index, 1 index, 2 index, 3 index, 4 index. This is the 5 index. So at 5 index, what is the value here? RD, that RD will be displayed. Now I is incremented. 5 plus 1, 6. So 6. 6 less than cars dot length 6. So 6 less than 6. Condition not satisfied. 6 less than 6. 6 less than 6. Condition not satisfied because 6 equal to 6. So condition is not satisfied. So loop terminated. Okay. So that is the way how loop executes here. So once loop created inside of these flower braces, I need to call that variable. The variable which will be holding all these values. That is the one variable created with the let keyword. I told you that, I told you that what? In JavaScript, what happened? Your variables can be created with the let keyword, otherwise constant keyword. Okay. So by let keyword, one variable created, and that is empty. Empty variable, it is not assigned with any values. And whenever loop reads the values, that will be stored in this variable, and that variable will be called, okay, and that variable, that text variable is called, the text variable will be called in inner HTML attribute of get element by ID method. I told you that get element by ID method, that is the mostly used JavaScript HTML method to display, to find out the HTML element, and the inner HTML attribute is used to display the HTML content. Okay, and that is assigned with the text variable, and text variable, that is what, text variable, every time the loop, uh, every time the loop navigates, iterates through this array and whatever the value it reads, and that will be stored in this text variable. Okay, now here this is the line break. Here BMW, if you want to see one by one, otherwise if you will not write this one, so what happened? All will be written side by side, side by side. Okay. And this method, get element by ID method, this is the part of your web page, means web document. So document dot, we need to write get element by ID. And this demo, it is what, which is assigned for here ID attribute. I told you that by this demo value, this get element by ID method will identify the HTML element. Okay. This is the get element by ID method that is the mostly used JavaScript method uh, to find out the HTML element, and then this inner HTML attribute, it will be used to display the content on the HTML content on the screen. So this is the up to here, this is the JavaScript code written inside of the script. Okay. So this is the code. We need to write this total code one by one. See what happened. We need to write the total code one by one. Okay. And so first of all, let me close. Okay. Now here, so if I want to display these all, I need to write the code one by one, like this. I told you that like this, I need to write the code. Okay, every time. So no need to write like this. So now let us start the code. We will write the code one by one. First, I told you that if you want to delete the total, you delete this total code here. Okay, there is no any code here. You run this. This is the result window. This is the code window. Here you can write the code here, and whatever the code you write, whenever you run, and this page will display the result. So here, what we are doing here, this is what online web editor. This online web editor, the code we can write, the code write, we can write the code here, and the code will be read by the web browser. Your browser in your computer, whatever the browser you have, your code will be read by that browser, and result will be displayed here. Okay. So this is the web editor, online web editor. So now let us write the code first here. First of all, we need to write what? This is what? Document type. Doc type. Doc type what? HTML. Okay. So generally, this doc type will be written always capital letters. If you don't want to write, doesn't matter. But generally, they will use this as a capital letters. Doc type. Okay. And then this exclamation mark, very compulsory. Now come to the next HTML element. HTML element started with start tag, and it is to be must be terminate with the HTML end tag. So now this is one element. HTML element is defined. Okay, now this code indicates that this is the HTML5 web version of web page, and this line of code indicates that this is the document of web page. Now inside of here, we need to write this body. That is to be start with body star element must be started with start tag, and it is to be closed with end tag. Okay, now, so inside of this body, so whatever the code you write that will be displayed on the screen. So suppose if you want to keep any paragraph, so paragraph element to be started and paragraph element to be closed. Okay, this is now inside of this, whatever this content you write that will be displayed. Now see here, nothing is there. If you write DD, anything, so the DD will be displayed here because this is the content written inside of this elements, header element started with start tag, end tag inside of this. So we will write here our topic is what JavaScript loops. Okay. Now this is the content. So now you run this code, JavaScript loops. Okay. Now inside of this, one more if you want to keep any header. Okay. See here, you have written H1, here you have written H. So there is no any issue, but if your end tag is here, you write this as H1, there is no any problem. One more header you want to write, that is what H2, not case sensitive here. It is not case sensitive header. Okay. It is not case sensitive here. Loops will be executed. A block of code will be executed. A block of code executed number of times. Number of times. A block of code will be a block of code executed number of times until a condition will be satisfied. So no need to write until again. Generally, I have briefed. Now I told you that one attribute we need to write. That is very important. That is what that attribute we need to write inside of the paragraph section. This is the paragraph element started and paragraph element closed. But that ID, I told you that the ID attribute that is to be mentioned, that is to be assigned with a value, that is what, suppose any XY, suppose you have written Vasu, there is no any problem. So now what happened, whenever you run, so this you will get ID is equal to Vasu, it is being displayed on the screen. But why? Because you have mentioned this as a content in between the element, start tag, end tag. I told you that inside of this, whatever the content you write, that will be displayed. But I want to assign this Vasu string to this ID attribute so that by that I want to find out the HTML element. So you keep this inside of this start tag, inside of this start tag. So now whenever you run this, so nothing is happened. Now ID is attribute assigned with a value. So this value will be used for get element by ID method. So now come down. Up to this you have written the code. So now what happened inside of this script code, JavaScript code. I told you that JavaScript code always it is to be written inside of the script, start script, start tag, script, end tag. But it looks color, but it is looking white. Why? Because script element started, script element to be closed. So I told you that forward slash. So now this is called script element with start tag, end tag. Now inside of this, whatever the code we will write, that will be, we need to implement the loop. Loop is what? I told you that loop. What is loop structure? For loop. I told you the for loop. So brackets means parenthesis. Okay. First of all, I told you that one need to create one, that is index variable. Index variable must be assigned with a value. Always, and then condition I less than. what? Cars. Car is what? Cars dot length. Car is an array. Length, okay? Cars dot length. And then it is to be terminated, I to be incremented, plus plus. So now what happened? Try to see. Inside of this flower braces, inside of the flower braces, we will use something. I will explain. So this is, I told you that cars is an array. So, but where is your cars array? We need to create a cars array, na? So create cars array. Okay, cars array. I told you that every array must be, we need to keep a variable name. Array is a variable. It will hold multiple values. So array to be either it is to be created constant, otherwise let keywords. So now your array is created. Array is created, but array is empty. Inside of that, we need to keep the values. So I told you that suppose cars has different brands. So every brand, it is to be kept inside of the array as a string. So string, it is to be declared either single quotation or double quotation marks. So what is your car brands? Maruti. Okay. This is one value. Every value that is to be separated with commas. One more car brand. Maruti driver. So Renault. Okay. I told you that string, it can be declared with single quotation marks and double quotation marks. Here we will declare double quotation marks. String. So one more car RD. Okay. So three values we have mentioned. If you want to mention one more car, take any one more car. Toyota. Double quotation, single quotation mark doesn't matter. Toyota. Okay. Next. How many? We have mentioned four car brands. If some more, Mahindra. Okay. Okay. So how many values I have passed to this cars array? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 values. So the index of this value is generally whenever we count, generally we will count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But index is equal initially 0. So that index I have set to 0. So its index is equal 0. By that, this for loop, it iterates through these all values. Whenever I is equal 0, it tries to read the 0 index value, and that will be displayed here. Okay. So that is what your array is declared. And before this, I need to create one variable, that is a variable which is empty variable. Okay, empty variable. Why? Because whenever I want to call, okay, that is what your method document dot get element by ID method I want to use here to find out the HTML element. Where is that HTML element? This is the HTML element. This is the variable. So inside of this, if I want to find HTML element, that ID, what the attribute value I have provided for this ID was. Okay, anything you can keep on. So that value I need to call here, and dot inner HTML dot is equal to what? That HTML element, this is the text. So that is to be called here. Okay. Now close this. Now what happened? Try to understand. I have used this get element by ID method. This is the mostly used JavaScript HTML method to find HTML element with this ID attribute value. The ID that is declared inside of this paragraph element start tag. Okay, not inside of end tag. It is declared inside of this start tag with the ID attribute. That ID is attribute is assigned with a value that is to be mentioned in this get element by ID. Now, I told you that this is the get element by ID. This is the mostly used JavaScript HTML method to find out the HTML element. And this attribute, inner HTML attribute, will be used to display the HTML content. That content is stored where in this empty variable. Whenever this loop reads by the index, every time it iterates through this, whenever I is equal to 0, it goes to read this cars. Okay. So for this, we need to write the code. Now that is equal text is equal. Okay. Now here cars dot length. Cars dot length. Okay. So that moment, so what happened? First of all, let us try whether our code will be executed. That is very important. Huh? So what happened here? Try to understand. So one variable, indexing variable created, that is I is equal to 0. That moment loop will read this indexing variable. What is the value at 0 index Maruti that will be displayed, and your I will be incremented to 1. I 0 plus 1, 1. Now 1 is, now I means 1. It is less than cars dot length. What is cars dot length? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I 1 less than 5. So condition satisfied. So at one index, what is the value Reynolds? That will be displayed. Now it is to be incremented 1, I plus 1, 2. Like that, loop will be rotated. So whenever it reads the value at 0 index, that will be stored where every time it will be added to this variable. What is this one variable we have created? That is what empty variable. It is not holding any value, and every time it reads and it will be stored in this, okay, in this variable text. So now by this get element by ID method, this ID method will be used to find HTML element, and inner HTML attribute will display the content. Text. Text is what? A variable created to store all the values. That values will be stored in this variable whenever loop rotates. Every time loop iterates through this cars array. Whenever it reads values one by one, and that will be stored in this variable. So now run this. What is happening here? But we are not getting any. So now your code to be executed. So when you run this code, you are not getting anything. It means your values will not be, they are not being displayed. So means there is somewhat syntax errors in your code. So you need to check back that code. What is the syntax error? Okay. Now what happened? a list of your array, car array, all the values, they are being displayed here. Initial value is the Maruti and Renault, Audi car, Toyota, like that. All the car brand list of cars, they are being displayed in the screen. Okay. So now let us see what happened. Where is the error? I would like to explain where is the error. First of all, come here. So suppose what the mistake we have done here. So I less than cars dot length. Here, if you keep this type of one, that is what your greater than symbol. Because of the generally you feel that I have kept this is greater than symbol. So you less than symbol and you finish with the greater than symbol. So that moment what happened? You will not get anything. So I less than cars dot length less than. So that is the condition. So no need of this one. Okay. That's the mistake. So you will get the list of all the cars. So, and one more mistake. Suppose if you will not write this code, so it gives what break for every line. In JavaScript, this line of code indicates that what it will help us. It breaks every line. So if you remove this one, so you will get, you're not getting anything. Eh? Okay. So see, you are getting all the things, the car list side by side, Maruti, Renault, Audi car. So like that. So even though if you keep the plus here also, you will not get them. So you need to remove this plus. So you will get all the cars side by side in single line. That moment, this code, line of code will help us to give a break for every line. Okay. It gives a break for every line. So, and it is this line of code to be terminated with the semicolon. So, and if any, see, I will explain the mistakes. Generally, so your this empty text variable, one text variable created, it is assigned as empty variable, no any value assigned. Whenever the loop, for loop, iterates through this array list at zero index, whatever the value that will be stored in this text variable. And whenever you pass this text variable as a value for this inner HTML attribute, this attribute, inner HTML attribute, what it does, it will display the HTML content. Content text, the text is a variable, it is holding the HTML content that will be displayed. I told you that this get element by ID method, it is mostly used JavaScript, HTML. So HTML element, this HTML get element by ID method mostly used to find the HTML element. Okay. And inner HTML attribute will be used to find the to display the content. So if you, even though your method, this is the proper method, you need to write like this. If you, even though if you keep small letters also, nothing, you will not get anything because this is the method. You need to keep the capital letter here. Even though if you write I small letter also, you will not get anything. Okay, that because of that method is the, you need to define as per, this is the defined method. And if this is not terminated with the semicolon, you will not get anything. Still you are getting, okay, no any problem. And if this is, this line of code is not terminated, so let us see what happened. You are getting. So however, syntax, it is stating that it is to be terminated and this line of code to be terminated. Okay, understood that. So this is the loop. The loop is mostly used in JavaScript to execute the line of code. What is the line of code? In this line of code is what? This is the line of code. Okay. but these are the conditions. This is the condition, this is the condition, and this is the incrementer and initial index variable set to 0. But line of code, this is the line of code. This line of code will be executed repeatedly, many times. How many times? Until the condition will be satisfied. Whenever I is equal to 5 and I is equal to 5, okay, I is equal to 5, that moment cars dot length is equal to what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 less than 5. So condition not satisfied. It will be terminated. Whenever I is equal to 4, so index I is equal to 4 car dot length 5. 4 less than 5. So at I is equal to 4 means at index variable 4. 0 index, 1 index, 2 index, 3 index, 4 index. At 4 index, whatever the value that will be displayed. Whenever I is equal to incremented 4 plus 1, 5. 5 less than car dot length 5. So termination, loop terminated. So this is the class today. Thank you. Have a nice day.